How you guys doing? This is very important in reference to history of things. You know, Satellite Man has been swelling up my face, and they've damaged my face and my upper lip, and they've damaged my teeth. Now, in reference to education and the schools that I went to, this is very important in reference to the history. They made my lips stiff and it's swollen. But in reference to educators and schools that I went to, and all the different schools in different cities and states growing up, in reference to my mother and father and family history and being in the entertainment industry, this is very important in reference to prosecuting people that are trying to play this game of blocking me from my rights. You know, in reference to these people trying to say something stupid where they're trying to prevent me from being who I am and my family history. These people trying to prevent me from being at my mother and father's mansions. These people blocking me from my mother and father's estates. These people blocking me from lawsuit monies. Now, in reference to educators, that's not very smart, now is it? These criminals that are trying to block me from my rights, blocking me from my family history. In reference to the laws of education and the laws of history, and my parents planned everything. My education, family history, career acknowledgments, and the fact that I'm the owner of my mother and father's estates, and I'm a singer and entertainer, and business tycoon and other things, athlete. So in reference to acknowledgments of information of these people criticizing me with their actions of trying to extort or their actions of trying to steal my parents' estates from me, everything's documented. Everything's copyrighted. And it even says they don't have a right trying to contest anything about my mother and father's estates or my ownership. And it tells them why. So all these haters and all these tricks of these people trying to block me from my recognition or me being known of who I am and who my parents are, and people being intrusive with their activities of blocking me from my rights and my accomplishments of notoriety and other things. It's very serious in reference to history of education. Reference to schools I went to growing up when my parents was alive, and when my mother was alive after my father died. My father got murdered by dirty government, and the government's never paid nothing. They murdered my mother too. And these people tried to murder me all the time. Which, of course, the Royal Protocol tells them they don't have a right touching me or trespassing on my locations or my mother and father's properties. And they don't have a right trying to analyze ways of trying to scam me or their ways of criticizing me to try to rip me off. And in reference to education, of course, this is very important in reference to the crimes of criminals. People trying to make false statements, false accusations to try to block me from my mother and father's estates, or them blocking me from my benefits and other things, or my career. So in reference to education, all the schools I went to when my parents was alive and after my father died, and even UCLA and other universities and other high school or junior high or elementary schools that I went to, private schools in Hello, Colorado, and Hello, Texas, and Hello, New York, and Hello, other cities and states. Because wherever my parents had mansions at, a lot of times I went to school, and Catholic or Jewish school in those areas, or those locations. And we had tutors too, and friendly acknowledgments. But in reference to the information of these people that are blocking me from my success, blocking me from notoriety and family history, things have to be published in the media. And in reference to education and statistical facts and notoriety of history, it needs to be documented and it needs to be presented in the media and published. So in reference to educators, they need to sue the government and the criminals for blocking me from my rights and my ownership of properties and businesses or whatever that they have tried to do. So the schools need to sue the government for terrorizing my life, and they need to question these people's intellect, whoever these people are. Hello, Beverly Hills.